The trade deadline has come and gone. A lot was done. A lot has come back in return. And speaking of returns, Tyler's back. Welcome up the boards. This is a hockey podcast. My name is Yusuf Rashid. That's Alex. And of course, Mr. Tyler Richmond has come back to us from his bender because I don't know how to tell you this. It's been a couple weeks and he just disappeared.
Who is president?
Yeah, who is?
Probably like Brady Kachuk. Is that
Okay.
I'd vote for that ticket. No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I'd vote for Hillary Knight.
an interesting one?
Yeah. How are you? How you feeling? You disappeared off the face of the earth for like
Dude,
God knows how long.
the women won gold, and I just kind of went ham. And that's about 2 weeks now, I think.
Yeah,
Tyler,
just about.
do you know what happened in the men's final?
No.
Play Freebird.
No.
He's going on another bender. We're about to lose him for a month.
It was Jack Hughes. He lost his teeth, and then he won the game with another golden goal.
So, Tyler, in your absence, are you aware that the trade deadline is over?
I guess I am now, apparently. What's going on?
Well, a lot happened, I guess.
Quite a few trades.
Quite a few trades happened. Yeah.
Quite a few non-trades.
That's what the news is saying. Wow, a lot has happened.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to break it to you, Vinny T is still on the Rangers.
He's going back on his bender. Oh, good Lord. But yeah, all jokes aside, the trade deadline, as I said, has come and gone. There were definitely winners of the deadline. There were definitely losers of the deadline. And there were a lot of trades that had people scratching their heads. Not so much for the trade itself, but for the return packages. Because, man, if you want to talk about people buying high, a lot of teams were willing to give up a lot for certain pieces in the trade deadline. Where do we want to begin, Alex? What are you thinking?
I mean, I think there's one trade that has to start the podcast. Nazem Kadri is back in Colorado.
Now you're wondering, why is the Red Wings fan celebrating this? Because I love Nazem Kadri. Carry on, Alex.
The package was Nazem Kadri and a 4th-round pick in 2027 for Victor Olofsson, Max Caron, a 2028 conditional first, and a 2027 conditional second. Nazem Kadri is now back in Colorado, where he won the Cup in 2022. And oh my God, do they have probably the best center depth in the league now.
Not to mention the fact that they got, now obviously not as big a deal, but they picked up Nicholas Waugh out of Toronto the day before.
That was supposed to be their pivot move.
And that was supposed to be the pivot, right? I think the big thing was coming out. Everyone thought, okay, they get Waugh. They're not going for Kadri. Here we are, right?
Well, apparently on when was it? Deadline was Friday. Apparently on Thursday, a deal was basically there, and then somehow didn't get done. Someone blocked the trade. It wasn't Kadri. Friedman hasn't openly said who did it, who's at fault, but a deal was put together basically, and people were pissed. And essentially, the package they traded for Roy was part of the Kadri deal, and then they no longer have those assets, so they had to renegotiate something else. But they still got it done. I think probably the coolest thing about this trade is it is so. I mean, what an absolute wagon Colorado is going to be. Their very much so. If you know how to play with our guys and you know the locker room, you're going to fit in just great. Kadri knows how to play with Landy. He knows how to play with Nate. He knows how to, like, it's pretty fantastic. I think it's an excellent move for them.
Yeah, very much so. I think with the addition of Kadri, going back to the point, that's center depth of Nathan McKinnon, Brock Nelson, assuming Nazem Kadri is going to be playing third line center, and then Nicholas Waugh is going to be playing fourth line center, or he might be on the wing, who knows. Yeah, I'm scared. I mean, like, we've already been scared of Colorado for the whole season, but they have all the guys who know how to win.
Yes,
and that's all they want to do.
All they want to do
forget is win.
Yep.
Like, they got 2 Stanley Cup champions back in 24 hours of each other. And their center depth is 3 Stanley Cup champions and Brock Nelson, who is an Olympic gold medalist.
Damn right he is.
That is a winning center depth. And oh, good golly God, if you're not afraid, you should be. Yeah, the Kadri trade is crazy. I think partly because I don't know if anyone thought at first he was ever going to end up back in Colorado when he signed that deal with Calgary 3 years ago now. But at the end of the day, when you're in a position that Colorado was in, where, look, we want to win, nothing else really matters right now, you get what assets you want. And I know from hearing things around, like, media reports and whatnot, that they really do regret having lost Kadri to free agency following their cup win. So this was an inevitable reunion, and I'm glad he's back in Colorado. I can't wait to see him win another cup. I'm so excited. Famous last words, imagine. But that's probably not probably. It is definitely the biggest trade that happened at the deadline, and the news didn't hit until like 40 minutes after the buzzer.
I love that that's a thing that can happen. The deadline hits and everyone thinks, no more news. But turns out they're just doing paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of paperwork and whatnot. Tyler!
Thoughts on Kadri?
How are you feeling?
So good.
That's the answer. I think that they're so good.
They're just so good. It's annoying. Now, I will say, I was actually looking this up a second ago. McKinnon's been hurt a lot in his career. Kind of due for an injury at some point, by the way.
How dare you put that out into the world, Tyler?
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, though, is if McKinnon's hurt, that doesn't really make much of a difference to Colorado, because you have... I'm kidding, it does. The second greatest player on earth? Yeah. No, it does. It absolutely does. I was like, I'm going to make some internet clickbait and we're going to get views on this now. I think he's going to be playing injured through the playoffs. Like, they might win the cup and he's going to be like, yeah, I broke my ankle in like March. And I'll be like, oh, okay.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for 1 second. I feel like every year we talk about the Avalanche being the greatest team post-deadline and all the moves they made, and they only have 1 cup in recent memory to sell for that. So.
That is true. 1 cup and...
Yeah, but the conference, their path has never looked this good. But and by that, I mean, they still have a hell of a division to get through, right, on their side of the bracket.
Yeah.
But the team that's prevented them from getting to the Stanley Cup the last 2 years looks like dog shit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I agree on that.
Yeah.
Basically, like, the best player in the world and his group of hostages, or is he the hostage?
I think he's the hostage at this point.
He might be the hostage at this point.
I think he's the hostage, yeah.
We'll get into the Oilers deadline a little bit later.
Oh, Lord.
But, oh my goodness. Like, I mean, that's why I think I'm so high on Colorado at this point in the year, despite what's happened the last couple of years, is I don't know who beats them without them getting super injured.
Yeah. But they've been really good on not being super injured going into the postseason.
Yeah.
So,
let's see what else happened this deadline. Everybody was saying, let's look for right shot Ds. Oh, the Ducks traded for John Carlson.
I got the news on that, and I kind of looked, and I'm like, Ducks acquire Carlson. I'm like, yeah, they've had Leo Carlson for a while. Does it say John Carlson?
We now
Tyler,
lead the
are
league
you okay?
in Carlsons.
I just think it's a weird one. This trade weirded me out. I don't know why.
It is kind of weird. It is just kind of weird.
It didn't feel right on either side. This one kind of hurt my. I was like, made a cup of coffee. That was like during the deadline. I just looked down. I was just like, "Are we sure that's right?" I don't know.
I mean, I'm stoked on it. We're about to see what it looks on the ice later today for the first time. He's gonna line up with the boys, but the Ducks' right side is problematic. The Ducks have one useful right side defenseman, and that's Jacob Trouba somehow.
Isn't the Ducks' right side just like also old?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's gonna if you just go based on like years in the league, it's gonna be Carlson, Trouba, Gudis. That's a old right side, and then all the youth is on the left.
That right side would have been so good in 2018.
Okay, but here's the Ducks have a lot of things that make them exciting to watch. Their power play is not one of those things, and to be frank, I think Jackson Lacombe could learn a thing or two from John Carlson. That's what I'm most stoked about.
I'm excited to watch McKinnon blow past the right side of your defense in the postseason.
That implies the Ducks face Colorado in the postseason, which means we win a couple rounds.
I still can't wait to watch McKinnon rip through Judas, Trouba, and Carlson as if they're pylons.
No. You see, Jackson Lacombe will be wearing his gold medal during the game,
that
and
poor
he will,
sweet child.
And he will.
That's great. You understand that'll only make McKinnon angrier.
He will use it as a lasso.
That'll still make him angrier. There's he's known as Nate Dogg.
Ovechkin described this as the saddest day of his career, by the way.
I could see that. Look at all the great teammates that Ovi had over the years, especially in that cup run, like Backstrom, Kuzi, Carlson, right? Like Backstrom retiring, he was sad about, and I think with Carlson being traded, definitely I can see why Ovi would say that. I think it's also Ovi realizing that like the sun is finally starting to set, which kind of bums me out. But hey, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. And Anaheim made a really interesting trade getting John Carlson. How long is his deal? Is he on a rental at this point?
He's on the this is a rental. Yep.
There's a rental?
This is a rental. Okay. Here's what I think is exciting about it. I think that it's another good vet to bring into the room. I think the Ducks are very clearly, Verbeek looks at this team and goes, if we make the playoffs, that's fantastic. But there is no way, no one is going to label this team a cup contender in any way, shape, or form. The defense is simply too bad. So like a soft buy, reward the kids. Hey, you worked hard. You guys are looking legit on the offensive side of the puck. Here's some more ammunition. Do that. It didn't cost too much. I think it's a fantastic move.
All intents and purposes, I think so. I think this is definitely going to be a move that like everyone's going to be scratching their head about for a little bit. But after maybe not tonight, but a few games of seeing John Carlson on the ice in a Duck sweater, which will be weird, but get over it. We'll start to undersee. Wow, thanks daylight saving. You're making me more tired than I usually am. We'll start to understand the vision that Verbeek has for how this team's going to look for the rest of the season going into the playoffs. And that is a whole conversation in itself. Let's speed things along. So Carlson gets traded. There were a lot of defensemen that got traded. Another one to note was Justin Falk, who is now a Detroit Red Wing. It's going to help our right side a little bit here. He has, I believe, a year and a half left on his contract, so it's not bad. The package, which I'm not the happiest about, but I'm like, you know what, fine. It was a third. Who was it? It was Dmitry Buchelnikov, Russian prospect, who I actually really liked, but I guess that you got to do what you got to do. And Justin Hall, who is legitimately the worst defenseman I've ever seen in my life. So at least he's finally gone. But yeah, I think to the point of how things are with the Ducks, like the Red Wings are in the same boat of we're just trying to make the playoffs right now and see what happens from there. Now, what worries me is that first rounder is not a conditional, and Dylan Larkin just got hurt, and I'm really worried. But that's another story for another time. Anyway, Justin Falk, right side D.
How's the goal? How are the goalies doing?
John Gibson is fine. Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. Where was I? So Justin Falk definitely bolsters up the right side of the defense behind Moritz Seider. Our top four now is looking like Simon Edvinsson, Moritz Seider as our first pair, and more than likely a Ben Sherratt, Justin Falk, and then you put Axel Sandin Pelech on like third pair, or like an Albert Johansson with Justin Falk. Either way, he's a defenseman that we kind of needed. We need someone that can be a defenseman, but also be incredibly aggressive. Maybe he works the second power play. We don't know yet. That might be Simon Edvinsson. We'll see. But right side D was a need that Detroit needed to fill up this deadline, and I'm happy that Steve Yzerman finally made a move. So at least that takes that off the table. Plus, like, he's so secretive about everything that you never know. Because at the same time, the Robert Thomas stuff was happening, and it's a whole thing. But Justin Falk is a Red Wing.
I'm going to use this. I'm going to use you saying you're upset they gave up a 2026 first round pick as a vehicle for reiterating my point. Picks are lottery tickets, especially when picks are just lottery tickets. And I think they are there to be traded. Unless you are actively rebuilding, it's whatever. Whatever. Like the Red Wings, even if they miss playoffs, probably don't win the lottery. And you're what good is that? Drafting a player who's going to take another 2-3 years. You're not. The Red Wings are not looking for a player who's going to be effective in 2 to 3 years. You're looking for players who are going to be effective right now.
Yeah,
which is why you trade those picks.
Yeah.
Which is why you trade those picks. And there's another team we're going to talk about later who just bonkers pick behavior. Tyler, what you got?
I like the Falk trade. I really do. I love Justin Falk. Always have for a long
good.
time.
He's such a great veteran.
You never hear anything about him, which is why he's great, because he's solid. He's just solid.
Which is what you should be on the right side.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Just a solid right side anchor. It's just something every team needs.
And Alex, I think you nailed it. I mean, like, if you're a team, like, I don't know, in second place from the bottom in the entire league, draft picks are a great thing. But if you're not, then you're a team actually competing for a playoff spot. Like, you're, oh my god, a mid first round pick, or getting into the playoffs. I would rather pick getting into the playoffs. I think any fan base would rather pick getting into the playoffs. So, for me, I think good trade. I 100% agree with you on
good trade.
100% agree with you on the draft pick thing.
Colton Parayko got sent to Buffalo, right?
About that.
Like
I don't know how to tell you this, but according to Colton Parayko himself, no. That motherfucker is not going to Buffalo.
I think Buffalo's deadline was so crazy because first off, we were hearing them, they were active early, and we were hearing them in rumors for all kinds of buying moves. We're just like, Buffalo's a buyer now? What?
Yeah, and it was almost all the St. Louis guys.
No, they have deserved it. I'm just like, historically, in the historical context, this is nuts.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's like
absolutely.
So they're buying, and that had to suck. First off, having a deal negotiated, and then the player nixes it. I think the fit would have been great, but they had an excellent pivot. I think Buffalo's pivot was so good, going and getting Shen and Pearson from
Yeah, they got Shen, they got Pearson, they got Logan Stanley out of Winnipeg as well. Like, that's the thing, right? I don't know what the hell Yarmo was sniffing in the Buffalo front office, but like them losing out on Colton Parayko to then immediately pivot to get two solid defensive depth in Luke Shen and Logan Stanley. Like, if that trade with Winnipeg, I see that as a win-win, which is insane for me to say about the Buffalo Sabres. But it's actually, you know what I mean? Right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Buffalo
It's
used to be
insane.
the team that traded somebody away at the deadline and then they won a cup.
Exactly. Now you're looking at it, you're like, why do I like this? Like, what do you like? So, for those listening, the trade is as follows: the Winnipeg Jets receive defenseman Jacob Bryson, who I believe is like an older player, I think he's like 27 or something like that. Isak Rosen. He was a first-round pick in 2023 or 4. He was 15th overall. A 2027 second rounder and a 2026 fourth rounder. And in exchange, the Buffalo Sabres are getting Luke Shen and Logan Stanley. Like, this is a wild situation where it's a real, like, proper win-win for both teams in that Buffalo gets exactly what they need. They lost out on Colton Parayko, mainly because of Colton Parayko himself, but made up for it by getting two defensive depth pieces. You bolster that already kind of ridiculous defensive core they have that's fronted by Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power. And you just keep building. You keep building from there. You look at the Winnipeg Jets. They're on a decline, which is really funny, but they're trying to get younger. They're trying to build around more guys like a Cole Perfetti, a Braden Yeager, things like that, and picking up a guy like Isak Rosen, who's still in the AHL, more than likely will get minutes actually playing with the Jets either this season or starting on opening night roster next season. You get a guy like Jacob Bryson, back that defense up. You're trying to build around a Josh Morrissey, right? You get the picks, because at the end of the day, to Alex's point earlier, picks are lottery tickets. If you're trying to rebuild or retool, you get your picks. If you're not, get rid of them, right? And for Winnipeg, somehow a year after winning the President's Trophy, it's right back to the drawing board. I don't know. How are you guys feeling about the Buffalo stuff? Tyler, how do you feel about the Buffalo Sabres? How do you feel about our Buffalo Sabres?
I'm a man of props today.
Yes, you are.
Dude. I'm here.
Where does this?
I'm on the wagon. I'll put it like that. I'm on the Buffalo wagon for this. So.
Where do you guys think this sits Buffalo in the East contenders? Because the East is kind of wide open. There's no Florida lurking in the bracket to ruin everyone's nightmares, everyone's dreams.
I'll just go out and say it. I mean, they're tied for first.
They're kind of like
division.
Yeah.
I think they're on the biggest upswing trend of any of the teams in the East.
Yeah.
As long as the trades work out. I mean, I think I don't want to be the one to say it, but they could take the East.
They could. I think
could take the East.
I think we might see a Buffalo Tampa Eastern Conference final.
That would literally heal the world.
That would heal that. That would end everything going on right now. I think Buffalo's ceiling, realistically, is second or third in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, because Tampa's kind of Tampa again, right? Their floor, probably first wild card.
Yeah.
Probably first wild card.
But for them, after missing the playoffs for 14 years, being
that
wild
is,
card one is
that's a win.
Yep.
Right there.
If they are going when they get to the playoffs, they are going to be scary.
Yeah, not to mention again, like they've been adding depth, right? They couldn't land the big fish, but they added smaller fish to help themselves out. Like they got Shen and Stanley out of Winnipeg as well. They got Tanner Pearson, which is actually really funny. And then of course out of the Rangers, they got Sam Carrick. So it's just, bolster your forward depth, bolster your defensive depth. Goaltending, they don't really have to worry about right now because Alex Lyon is a monster again. Good for you, dude. Like, they don't have to worry about a lot right now. I'm kind of shocked they didn't end up trading Devin Levi. I love Devin Levi, but yeah, that's like maybe the one thing I'm surprised about with Buffalo.
We'll see what happens with Tuck.
Yeah, that too. Tuck is still there.
In a way,
Jack
that's
Quinn,
also a rental, right? Because it seems like they're nowhere near an extension. And
yeah, they
they're
haven't
gonna
gotten a deal done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of teams knocked on the door about Tuck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure a lot of teams knocked about Alex Tuck, but probably just couldn't get anything done that Buffalo needed. And I think again, if Buffalo were in the normal Buffalo situation of being last in the league, Tuck's gone. But because they're actually winning games and they're in a playoff spot and in a comfy playoff spot, it's best to keep Alex Tuck. So, yeah. On the topic of, since we're talking about all these trades and asset management and things like that, can we talk about the Calgary Flames for a second?
Let's do it.
So, the Calgary Flames are such a strange team to me because they have never wanted to admit that they are trying to retool or rebuild, despite the fact that they have Dustin Wolf and Zane Parekh on the roster and they're trying to work around that. But finally, they said, okay, fine, you know what? We're retooling. Is that a surprise? And everyone goes, no, it's not. What the fuck do you mean is that a surprise? We've been telling you this for years. Like, ever since you traded Matthew Tkachuk. Like, what are you talking about? So, we already talked about the Nazem Kadri trade. That happened. What they get back from that, Victor Olofsson, a left wing, like, you're just building whatever you need to right now and just kind of riding the wave of the retool. Max Curran, who I've heard good things about as a prospect. I don't know if I'll ever, like, if he pans out well, but I've heard very, very good things about him. From the Anaheim Ducks, they acquired Ryan Strome for a 7th round pick, which, Alex, how do you feel about that?
Praise.
That works. I'll take that as an answer.
I mean, Ryan Strome is a good human but for the locker room. That's kind of a lot of the players really liked him. At the end of the day, he's moving from Newport Beach, California to Alberta. Poor guy, but he's a body. I think for that trade is purely Calgary's like, we might need people to play games.
I love the quote. How do I feel about Ryan Strome? He's a body. That's great. That's phenomenal.
How do I feel about Ryan Strome? Let's be honest. Every hockey team has their couple guys on the roster where you're like, he's a body.
Yep.
He's a guy.
He's a guy who goes on the ice.
That's definitely a guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He has his moments. He scored a goal in his first game in Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's exciting.
Need that. Yeah.
They need that.
Poor Jonathan Huberdeau.
It's kind of been telegraphed for a couple years that Calgary was like, we only want to be good when we have a new building, which has been in the works for what feels like 10 years, but
it feels
really
like
5. I mean, they have the oldest barn in the league, so it's very much so deserved. But the idea of like, I'm not going to try until we have an arena is crazy to me. Okay, John Fisher of the Oakland Athletics, like... Yeah, I don't want to make a good team yet. I only want to be good when we're in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we only be good. Boo.
It's weird. It's weird.
It is weird.
They moved the pieces that they have that were the most movable. So they get a thumbs up from a retool perspective.
Tyler, the Flames also did a deal with the Rangers.
Yeah, we did.
You guys got Jacob Battaglia. And in return, the Flames are getting Brandon Othman, who I had really high hopes for.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
And they did not do anything. So I'm hoping fresh start for Othman. He's a little bit older than Bertelli. But I'm bad with names. What's the guy's name again that we got back?
For what?
Who did the Rangers get back for Othman? I just completely forgot.
Jacob Battaglia.
Battaglia is younger. Othman's older.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like a good trade for us as we're entering a retool because we're not rebuilding, we're retooling. Yeah, jury marketing's great. I think it's a good move for the Flames who, as Alex said, need to field a team next year, so bodies are good. So Othman was a phenomenal player in junior, so hopefully he can find his game again. And I'm always excited for us to fail at developing another young prospect, so it'll be fun to watch that kid just completely get ruined.
Anyway, so Calgary made some trades. I have no words to respond to that. I know I asked. And I don't know if I regret it or not.
You act like you don't know who Tyler is. These are Tyler takes right here.
I know these are
tinfoil hat or anything.
There's been like 11 years of these.
And most of them are right.
Most of them are right. The last trade Calgary did, I think this is where we can kind of segue out of Calgary into another team in the Central and start talking about the way the divisions are looking. Unless we're missing another big trade, if we are, we'll get to that in a second. The Calgary Flames traded Mackenzie Weegar. Well, yeah, Mackenzie Weegar is out of Calgary and is going to.
Wait, yeah, actually, Alex, did you see where he went?
Yeah, Alex, where'd he go? Where's Mackenzie Weegar?
I can't find him. He's not on the Ducks roster.
I don't. No, he's not a Duck. He's not a Ranger.
Where? No, God, no, we don't do that.
He went to Trump University.
No,
that's not it. Tyler, wait, what is that? What is that state? It starts with
the Predators. It's like a prehistoric team, though. I'm talking about.
It's an animal team.
Yeah,
what is it? It's a prehistoric animal team.
Come on,
that's
Alex,
not the Predators.
Okay.
Is it like?
Look, I didn't forget. Animal? I didn't forget they existed. I just called them fraudulent.
Oh, we know. We're aware.
So how are those frauds doing, Alex?
Yeah, how are those frauds?
What do you mean? They're in the wild card. I thought this team was supposed to run down the Central.
They're 1 point. Granted, they're only 1 point less as good as you all, which is the weirdest way I could have worded that. You guys are 1 point better than them.
Damn straight.
Anyway, Mackenzie Weegar's in Utah.
I call it the fraud line. You know, in baseball, there's the Mendoza line, and then there's the fraud line. I think Weegar was one of the guys I wanted. I was hoping Verbeek would go make that move. But it's okay. That must
sting that he went to Utah then.
I mean, not really. Like at the end of the day, I think he's a better fit on Utah. I think so. I kind of think things could have had more potential to go wrong if he came to Anaheim.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't
think the player fit was as good. I think from a I love hockey perspective, this is great. Good job, Utah.
Yes. I think for what Utah did with this trade, works out. Again, it's another Buffalo Winnipeg trade where it ends up working out for both sides fairly well. For Utah, they're getting another fairly good, depending on the day, defenseman in Mackenzie Weegar to back up what they already have in John Marino and Mikhail Sergachev. They were not willing to give up any of the big names that they have, so they were not giving up on a Caleb Denoyer, they were not giving up on a T.J. Ginla, things like that. And to get away with Mackenzie Weegar for what they traded is fine. And on the Calgary side, of course, we should probably specify the trade. Calgary receives a 3 second-round picks this year. I think one of them belongs to Utah. The other two, I think one's San Jose's and the other's, I can't remember which other team. But 3 second-round picks in this year's draft. Jonathan Castagna and Oli Mata, who is one of the Hall of Fame guys of all time.
I think that's really good for Calgary, honestly, because stacking some picks in this draft, I think this is every year we say there's going to be a ton of draft trades, right?
Yeah.
But we can't guarantee there's going to be a ton this year or not. But what we can say is that what gets traded when you make draft day packages, you have throw-in picks that help you move up, down, move a player here or there. Having 3 second-round picks in your arsenal that you could move is excellent for a draft day trade for Calgary. If they wanted to move up, if they wanted to acquire a real NHL player, that's the perfect asset to have to do that.
Yeah, very much so.
It still gives you a shot at 3 really solid prospects. If not, if you
keep them and you draft, you can get 3 decent guys.
Yeah,
but like we said earlier, it'll take a couple years, and they're lottery tickets. So who knows?
Well, that gives them time for an arena, so it's fine.
It does actually give them time for the area, so they're fine. If anything, their Calgary's plan is maybe way more specific than we think it is. Yeah, so
I've got another trade I want to talk
well.
about.
Oh, what you got?
Tampa Bay did something, and it's the most cup run Tampa Bay dynasty move ever.
They're going to lose to Colorado in the final again, aren't they?
They've picked up Corey Perry, so the Corey Perry final streak is alive and well. Probably. Well, he scored a goal in his first game back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because the streak's not over yet, is it? Or is it?
No. Well, it's more of a trend. 5 of the last.
It's a trend because he didn't make the last 2 because the Panthers exist. But
because the Panthers exist.
But yeah, the Tampa Bay is probably going back to the final. Corey Perry is back. He got a goal against the Leafs last night, which is truly the funniest thing ever. And considering
kind of easy to do, by the way, but what's not?
Who allowed those uniforms to face off against each other?
The league.
A white and blue team versus a blue and white team? Are you kidding me? You both have alternates. Somebody wear the black one.
Tampa needs to bring back their old jerseys, and I stand by
the grays.
No, the black and the blue and white, like the Marty St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'll die on that. I used to love Tampa when I was a kid because I thought they had the best jerseys.
They did have some really nice.
I used to
back sad and boring.
In like NHL 2K14, I used to always play as them because they had sick jerseys.
They did have some really nice jerseys back then. So yeah, they ended up getting Corey Perry back for a second round pick, and LA. I don't know what the Kings' plan is anymore. They fired Jim Miller.
Deadline.
They got Artemi Panarin.
Well, let's be fair to the Kings here. They get Artemi Panarin early, and then they lose Fiala to the Olympics. That hurts.
It does.
And then they also were playing really bad coming right out of the break. Like they did not play well the first few games, and they kind of forced Holland's hand to do some sort of retool just to move off some assets.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is kind of weird. I mean, again, I'm not entirely sure what the plan is in LA right now. Can they make the playoffs? Let's see. Time will tell, but time is kind of running out. We only have a month and change before the season ends.
The Kings have exactly 20 games left. They've got 62 in the belt.
And not only do they have 20 games left, they have to get past San Jose, the Kraken, to get into a wildcard spot.
Where the vibes are currently immaculate on both sides. So, yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for the Kings. But
yep. The bit of good news that is they got that Panarin extension done.
Yeah.
So he's not a rental, even though they are going to lose Kopitar, which stinks for hockey.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm realizing there's another team we didn't talk about who made a couple moves. Speaking of playoff teams,
is it Minnesota? The Minnesota Wild?
Yeah. The Minnesota Wild. I think they.
I was going to get to them.
Decent little buying deadline.
The Minnesota Wild, I think, are finally doing the thing that everyone hoped they would for every other year they made the playoffs, and that is sell and not sell, but buy and just give up whatever the fuck you need to. So Minnesota made a fair few trades as I look over. Obviously, the big one being like 3 months ago, that was Quinn Hughes, right? And look, you trade for Quinn Hughes, you have 2 of the best goaltenders in the league. This is probably your best shot at trying to get a cup, so you might as well just give up the farm and get whatever you need. And the biggest glaring point that everyone had for Minnesota post Quinn Hughes trade was, man, that forward core is definitely dudes of all time, and Kirill Kaprizov.
Dude, don't diss Matt Zuccarello.
Or Joel Eriksson Ek.
Or gold medal game goal scorer Matt Boldy.
There you go. Talent.
That's true. Matt Boldy is there too. Matt Boldy's great. But so Minnesota made a fair few trades. So not counting the depth stuff they really did, like the AHL or shit. But first trade to talk about, and this is one I think Tyler definitely has some thoughts about because it does involve the Nashville Predators. Michael McCarron is now a right winger for the Minnesota Wild, and in return, the Nashville Predators got a second rounder this year.
That's a lot for McCarron.
That's a lot for Michael McCarron.
I saw that and I was like, damn, man, that's good. Like, Trotz is like, well, what the hell? Like,
that was a trade that Trotz kind of cooked. That was a trade that when it happened, I think everyone went, Michael McCarron, a second round pick? What? Like, yeah, how do you this as I said earlier,
second round pick could have helped him get Vincent Trocheck instead.
Yeah. As I said earlier, there were a lot of deals at the deadline this year that were very some teams definitely gave a little more than they should. And I think this is one of them where it's like, how do you justify a second round pick for Michael McCarron? But you know what? Okay, sure. I don't know what you're planning, Minnesota, but Bill Guerin, I think, knows what he's talking about at this point. So do that. So they have partly some more forward depth, right? Probably ends up playing third line right wing for the Wild. And the point is they need to keep moving, right? The next trade they made to the Florida Panthers, a conditional 7th round pick this year. The condition being it becomes a 5th rounder if Minnesota reaches the Western Conference Final and the player involved appears in 50% of the games. That player is Jeff Petrie. Defensive depth behind Faber and Hughes because you need guys back there. And Petrie is a good like third pair, not really a shutdown guy, but he can be a pest. Also, his dad is a Detroit Tigers legend. Fun fact. Anyway, but again, a conditional 7th, not the craziest thing in the world. So you work on that. The next trade Minnesota made, again, for forwards. Actually, I'm going to talk about both. The first being Bobby Brink, getting him out of the Philadelphia Flyers. And in return, this is a trade where I was like, wow, okay, it's kind of a little surprising. But again, the position they're in, they have to, or they need to. David Jiricek is going to the Philadelphia Flyers. And I like David Jiricek. Big defenseman, not the fastest guy in the world, but great shutdown guy. All the promise in the world there was for him when he was drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets, but never worked out. He didn't really get any playing time, spent a lot of time in the A, and ended up getting traded to the Minnesota Wild. And now he's going to Philly, where he will probably actually get playing time, hanging around with, Jamie Drysdale and Risto. So I think it's a good trade for them, and that Jiricek gets actual playing time. Like, that's the thing at the end of the day with these younger players, right? Is these guys want to play. Jiricek was not going to get any time in Minnesota unless Minnesota jumped off a cliff and sold. But when you get Quinn Hughes, you're not doing that. So Jiricek goes to Philly, and Bobby Brink is going to the Minnesota Wild as another part of that forward depth. To add more to that, Nick Foligno is out of Chicago. In return, one of the greatest to ever do it, future considerations. And
Shout
Nick Foligno gets to be
considerations.
Shout out to future considerations. And Nick Foligno for the first time in his career.
That translates to future considerations. Translates to this is a free trade.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. And Nick Foligno. The last thing I wanted to bring up is he gets to play with his brother for the first time. Marcus and Nick Foligno finally get to play together for the first time in their NHL careers, which is very sweet. And at the same time, you see based on what Minnesota's doing, they're going for it. Thoughts, boys?
I think it's a good chunk of moves. I don't think the big flash in the pan type trade that people would have gone viral to talk about and get excited on for Minnesota wasn't really there. So what they do, they made moves around the margins and they made a vibes move. That's what the Foligno trade is.
Yeah,
it's completely a locker room and vibes move, and it good energy to the locker room when you're gonna have the big. They're gonna need that when they face probably Dallas in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, that is gonna be a hard physical series, and they're gonna have to pull together as a group, I think, to get through that. So I think this is a good deadline. Brink to me screams change of scenery player. And Philadelphia, bad vibes. Vibes not good. Bad time. Philadelphia only wants to play shootouts. They don't want to do anything else.
I think you said it great. Like, I think just the Foligno trade is just great to get the locker room together. I mean, you got two brothers in there. There's gonna be like two dogs. It'll work for Team USA to have a couple brothers together. So, apparently, I didn't watch it, but
don't ask the Devils. They deleted one of them.
yeah, they forgot.
Yeah, don't
But,
ask the Devils. They don't know about that.
Besides the second round pick from McCarron, which once again I want whatever the GM was smoking, but like other than that, I mean, dude, I think every trade was great, and McCarron's a good player. Like they got a good player. I just thought it was a little high on the price, but like they made their big trade 3 months ago, so like they had a quiet deadline for the most part. Like they made a couple of depth moves, like they didn't go get a first liner or like a first pair defense, and they did that 3 months ago. And it's like just kind of the way they had to do it, and like. They swung very, very early, got their guy in Quinn Hughes, and now they're just kind of like, okay, like, we need a third round winger. Let's go get a third round winger. Let's go get a seventh defenseman. Let's just go build up a very quiet back end a little bit. They're still so old. But
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I think it could be interesting.
I think so. I think at the end of the day, too, is for a lot of teams, and this is normally the case about this time of year, the narrative will change in about 2 to 3 weeks going into April. But the narrative will always be, well, who are you going to play in the playoffs? Teams are just bolstering specifically for the playoffs, not bolstering up for a team in mind. However, at this point, as it's been for the last 2 months, 3 months since the Quinn Hughes trade, it's all but inevitable that Dallas will play the Minnesota Wild in the first round. And I think Minnesota is making the moves for depth. Obviously, they need to get the locker room together, as you guys mentioned. Great points. But it's a matter of we got to be ready to fight fire with fire. And
well, yeah.
Dallas.
Did you see what Dallas did? They picked up Tyler Myers.
They got Chaos Giraffe. Oh, God.
Look, Dallas's strategy is and always will be to punch you so hard you either lose to them or you can't beat anybody after you beat Dallas.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, even with Rantanen gone right now due to injury, when he is healthy and back, run for your lives. But like again, Dallas is one of those teams where they are so well built from lines 1 through 4 and pairs 1 through 3 and goaltending, where you look at them and go, how the hell are we going to beat that? You have to fight fire with fire somehow. So Minnesota's making a very smart move, acquiring a whole bunch of guys to just, fire up their depth as much as they can, because they're going to be need to be doing a lot of shuffling going against Dallas. And assuming they survive Dallas, then you have, probably the most perfectly built team in the league in the Colorado Avalanche. So yeah. you gotta be ready. All right. So with all that, that's been the trade deadline. A lot of people were saying it wasn't like crazy this year, and I'm like, sure, it wasn't Brad Marchand to the Florida Panthers crazy, but like there were a lot of really interesting trades that had gone down when you really start to look at the details of everything. At the end of it all, gentlemen, I know people always do this, and I think we should too, just for fun. Winners and losers of the trade deadline. Just one winner, one loser each. Tyler, would you like to go first?
Okay. Do you want to do losers or winners first, or both?
Let's do losers first.
Okay, I think Vancouver lost. They just didn't do. They had a couple of small trades, but like, my God, you're terrible. You're last place in the league. You're only below us. Like, I mean, like that's like, dude, do better. They didn't do anything. They really needed to get draft picks here. Granted, they have the best chance of letting whoever they want to in the draft, but at the same token, that is one kid whose career you're going to put in a hellish position. Like, go get pieces, like, or go honestly, just get draft picks. That's what you have to gamble. And like, in this point, like to Alex's point, they're lottery tickets, and like, you need as many as you can, because I love Thatcher Demko. I watched him in college. Homeboy is hurt every year and misses half the year. I can't tell you the last time he played anywhere remotely above 50% of the games in the season. And like, so your goaltending doesn't work. You traded Quinn Hughes. He did that, I guess, but that was 3 months ago. But you have all these pieces who are disgruntled. I mean, you have players who are leaving like, thank God I'm out of there. And it's like they're not even hiding it when they talk to the media. They're like, thank God I'm out of Vancouver. And it's like I feel like you have to have done something.
Yeah, I think they needed to do more because currently, as it currently constructs, they're going to draft a Joe Burrow without an offensive line.
Precisely.
Yeah. And not to mention, your division is getting stronger and stronger. Like,
well, that's a funny thing to say about the worst, statistically the worst. Oh, sorry, we switched.
That's what I was comparing it to, because the Kings get Panarin and the Ravens just got Max Crosby, so it's like
basically.
Oh, and the Ducks and Sharks are.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Is like your division, the California Gauntlet's coming back, and Vancouver's got to be ready for hell.
Calgary has better player or worse players than Vancouver. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes,
and they are better,
and they are better on paper. Yes.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous.
I think the problem with Vancouver, I don't know if you can call it the focal point, but I feel like it's been the talking point for everyone, is what the hell do you do with Elias Pettersson? The forward, by the way, not the defenseman Elias Pettersson, the forward, the one that makes a lot of money.
I don't
what do you
know.
do with Petey?
Get his mind right. Get him to produce. The only way they will ever be able to move him is if he starts producing. And I just feel like they've made their bed at this point.
Do you feel like if they tank, and we're starting to get close to time, we're trying to go for an hour today. We might go an hour 5, but that's fine. Do you feel like if they do complete the tank and get in Ivar Stenberg to play wing for Pettersson, maybe that is what their plan is? Maybe that's what the hopeful rejuvenation of Elias Pettersson can come from? I don't know. It's a hypothetical, right?
I mean, I think they need to fully strip the thing down. They need to figure out how to get any asset they possibly can, and they have to rebuild a prospect pipeline, and they have to rebuild. They have to change who's good. They can't be relying on Demko. They can't be relying on Pettersson.
The Abbotsford Canucks won the Calder Cup last year.
Yeah, with Shilov's and that.
Yeah, I know, and he's gone too. So
stupid.
Dude, they could have moved off like Teddy Blueger. They could have moved off of Evander Kane. And granted, you're not going to get a lot. But
I mean, apparently Evander Kane. Apparently, they called everybody about Evander Kane, and everyone said
no. Yeah,
dude,
like we're not doing that.
I called this during the offseason when he went there on the pod.
Yep,
I was like,
not moving.
You have locker room problems and you bring in Evander Kane.
Yeah,
it's not going to work. All right, let's keep
purposes,
moving for the
I want
Canucks.
to. Yeah, I'm going to jump on.
Keep moving.
My loser is the St. Louis Blues.
Understandable.
They made a few moves, but there are several notable moves they did not make. And apparently they were calling teams and trying to convince them that Robert Thomas was the second coming of Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of Robert Thomas talk through the last, through Thursday and Friday of the deadline, I'm like, he's this good? Why not just build around him?
Yeah, right? Why are you guys bad if he's this good?
Yeah, what?
They had the only movable goalie in the entire trade pool and didn't move him. Then there was the Parayko deal that got nixed, and then he was like, "Send me to if you're going to trade me to California." And then they just went, "Nah,
no."
I mean, they really needed to sell off and rebuild assets and redo the pool. Kyrou is in trade rumors every offseason for whatever reason, and then they failed. I mean, he didn't play. He hasn't been great this year, so they didn't. Not much value there.
You could have gotten something.
You could have gotten something for Kyrou.
Something's better than nothing for the situation St. Louis is in.
They just did not enough. They talked the big talk, and they were like, "Everyone's available, come get us," and then they just did nothing. So they're my loser.
And once again, they're very old. It's an old team at this point. They're just not going to be productive. Just sell everything.
Yeah, just sell. The point is sell if you're in this situation. With that being said, my loser that actually sold, shockingly, and didn't do anything ridiculous. Well, too ridiculous at the deadline. My loser is my resident Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh, shocker. Crazy. Oh my god. Of course you picked the Leafs to be losers. They made 3 trades. Nick Waugh to the Avalanche. They got a conditional 2027 first and for next year and a 5th rounder this year. They traded Bobby McMahon to Seattle. They got a 2nd and a 4th. And they traded Scott Laughton to LA and got a conditional 2026. You
Good
couldn't have
job.
sold more? Like, look, Brad Treliving, I know your job is about to be gone, but like, dude, you could have done some more to at least like give yourself another month before you get fired.
It's kind of directionless. It's like what
It is.
That's the level of sale you're gonna do.
Well, it also goes. The SDP brought this up that Brad Treliving as a GM is so wild in the fact that he famously nuked the Calgary Flames and then was like, bye. And you're looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs and you're like, well, you didn't nuke them, but you're like, dude, no offense, but they're not getting anything done. Like, you traded 3 pieces that you probably should have kept one of them in Scott Laughton. The other 2, yeah, bye. Get whatever you can back, but you couldn't have traded more? Like, look, no offense, Morgan Riley probably could have gone. McCabe probably could have gone. Stolars probably could have gone. The point, you're not winning anything. You're not going to make the playoffs. Like,
oh, and they have that whole their first round pick belongs to Boston unless it's a top 5 pick.
yeah.
So they needed to tank to get down there.
Yeah.
I
mean, who knows?
The core 3 is still there. It's fine.
But guys, it's not about selling jerseys, guys. It's not about selling jerseys. Austin Matthews is a great captain, guys.
He's like so
Yeah.
good in a Utah sweater.
Oh, he's gonna look so great in a Utah sweater. Same with Willie.
We all know Vegas is gonna trade for him in 2 years. It's okay.
2 years next year. Watch. So those are losers. Winners. Mine is pretty easy. It's the Colorado Avalanche. Like, if they weren't already a juggernaut, holy shit.
Excellent trade.
Yeah.
Excellent trade. We talked about it enough earlier.
My winner
is I'm homer take. The Anaheim Ducks are a trade deadline winner this year. They did a soft buy. It doesn't cost that much. It doesn't move the needle too much. It's just good move. And they also got somebody nobody was talking about. They lost out on Uyghur, had to pivot, and found somebody in the market that nobody thought was available. So Verbeek gets a thumbs up from me.
I'm gonna go the route of Alex. I'm gonna use my hometown now. Get my prop back out, boy. Let's go, Buffalo. Dude, failing on the Parayko trade, pivoting, and then getting everything else they got, great.
I think that it's almost better.
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
almost better.
They went in and they crushed it with an already good roster. The vibes are immaculate in Buffalo. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy end to this season.
I'm
the
riding,
race
I'm
to the
Buffalo
playoffs. I don't think I've ever been so nervous for a playoff race in hockey. It's like it's anyone's game now.
I haven't been in one in so long. I don't know what this feels like.
Yeah, that's true.
It is not anyone's game. Vancouver is not in it.
That's true.
And the Rangers.
Neither is Calgary. And the Rangers.
Blackhawks,
Calgary.
The Blackhawks are not in it.
Also,
St. Louis certainly isn't.
Definitely isn't.
The Pacific is a race to not be fourth.
Yep.
Either miss the playoffs or don't be fourth.
Yeah, it's a fun time, and the last month and change of the season is going to be, it's going to be so great to watch, and yet so incredibly stressful for everyone involved. You know what sucks? We forgot about one team that actually made a couple trades that doesn't like move the mark, But we kept talking about the St. Louis Blues being losers. We forgot to talk about the fact that Braden Shen is going to the Islanders, and the Islanders are making a run for the playoffs.
We completely forgot to talk about
We completely forgot to talk about the New York Islanders, which is funny because we try to mention Matthew Schaefer in every episode.
Calder, second place, Matthew Schaefer.
I mean, Seneca hit 50, so yeah, he probably is one of the Calder.
Beat him head to head.
Yeah, that's
didn't
fair.
get any points.
Anyway, but yeah, the Islanders are still winning too. There are so many teams that for the last there are so many teams that over the last few years have just been like at the bottom of the barrel or just like kind of mediocre at best. And it's crazy to see the turnaround that some of these teams had. The Islanders with Schaefer, Buffalo, and I still can't explain how the hell the vibes turned around there, but you know what? That's fine. We'll take it. It's going to be such a fun race to the end. And we'll be here for it. And we'll be back in a couple weeks. This has been Up the Boards. You can find us on YouTube. We have an Instagram page now, Up the Boards Hockey. Follow us there. We'll probably be posting a whole ton of clips and whatnot of what goes on in this podcast. And yes, you're right. Tyler's post bender is definitely going on there. But until then, we will see you soon. Bye-bye.